White had to say, shall we?
All right, y'all. Great job. Great job. We did a lot of great.
First things first, before we get into this, I never want to see this much of Stephanie White's arms ever again.
Stephanie White's comments after the win felt less like a celebration and more like a quiet warning. Her team earned an impressive victory over the Las Vegas Aces without Aya Wilson, but instead of focusing only on the players who stepped up, her words seemed aimed at someone else. Many people believe the message was directed at Caitlin Clark. Even though Clark was not there, it sounded like White wanted everyone, including her, to understand exactly where she stood.
Just keep it a buck. Stephanie, put the blazer on, put a t-shirt on, put a long sleeve shirt. You don't see me walking around in guinea tees in front of the camera, do you? Let's hear what she's got to say.
All right, y'all. Great job. Great job. We did a lot of great things. I'm sure this has to be.
The team finished with only 7 turnovers, their lowest total of the season, and many people felt Stephanie White's comments carried a hidden message. It sounded like she was saying that taking better care of the ball leads to winning, a remark some believed was aimed at Caitlin Clark. Standing at the podium with her notes, White appeared determined to highlight every point that supported her argument. Because of that, the discussion shifted away from the victory itself. The Indiana Fever had defeated a Las Vegas Aces team playing without Aya Wilson, who was likely being rested before the playoffs. Critics felt the win was being used to suggest the Fever looked stronger without Clark, a conclusion that many fans considered unfair and difficult to support.
I'm sorry, folks, that's my bad. The Indiana Fever played yesterday as well. The Indiana Fever went up against the Asia Wilson-less Las Vegas Aces. So you have the Indiana Fever without Caitlin Clark. You have the Las Vegas Aces without Asia Wilson. I see some people cheering and doing backflips because the Indiana Fever beat the Las Vegas Aces without Asia.
From the very beginning, the story was presented in a way that made the result seem much bigger than it really was. It started by talking about England winning in a difficult-away environment, then briefly mentioned Norway before finally bringing up the Indiana Fever. That build-up made the Fever's victory sound like a major achievement. The truth is they beat the Las Vegas Aces while Aya Wilson, the team's biggest star, was unavailable. That important detail changes how many people view the result. In most sports, fans usually recognize that a win over a weakened opponent deserves some perspective. Yet this game was quickly used as evidence to support bigger claims about the roster and the team's playing style, even though one regular season victory cannot settle those debates.
At her star player, throwing shade at her star player. That's the news coming out of the game. That is the story coming out of the game. Stephanie White's slow, methodical, tiresome, knockdown, drag-out, boring brand of basketball. They beat the Los Angeles Sparks, no Kelsey Plum, no Cameron Brink. They beat the Las Vegas Aces, no Asia Wilson. A game that Becky Hammond did Stephanie White a solid and said, Kennedy Carter, keep your ass on the bench. You're not really going to.
When people talk about Stephanie White's system, they usually describe it as slow, patient, and focused on controlling every possession. Those words are not necessarily criticism. They are simply how many fans see the team's style after watching game after game. The offense is built around limiting mistakes, playing at a steady pace, and reducing risk instead of pushing the tempo or creating fast break opportunities. That approach can produce wins, but it also raises an important question. If the offense appears more comfortable without a special playmaker like Caitlin Clark, maybe the issue is not the player at all. Maybe the system is not designed to get the most out of someone with her unique skills. As a rookie, Clark averaged more than 5 assists per game while also leading the Fever in scoring, showing that she could both create chances for teammates and carry the offense herself. Pointing to one game with only 7 turnovers against a weakened opponent does not suddenly erase everything she has already accomplished. The Fever also picked up wins against teams that were missing key stars, including the Sparks without Kelsey Plum and Cameron Brink, and the Aces without Aya Wilson. Those victories still count, but they should be viewed in the right context. Beating injury-hit opponents is encouraging, yet it does not automatically prove the team has discovered a championship formula. The real test comes when facing healthy, top-level teams with their full lineups available.
At the end of the game, I smell something fishy here. Uh-oh. Got Stephanie White Come here, Becky. Give me a hug. Come here. Give me a hug. Give me a hug. This is it. This is what happened right here. This is what happened right here. Come here, Becky. Give me a hug. Give me.
Another moment that caught people's attention came after the final buzzer, when Becky Hammon and Stephanie White were seen smiling and talking together. Some fans felt their body language looked unusually relaxed for two coaches whose teams had just competed. They covered their mouths while speaking, laughed, and quickly walked away, leading to plenty of online speculation. Still, all anyone can honestly judge is what happened on the court. The Aces rested Aya Wilson, and Kennedy Carter saw limited playing time despite being available. Although the score remained fairly close, some viewers thought Las Vegas never pushed as hard as expected late in the game. In the end, both coaches appeared satisfied, with one protecting key players and the other leaving with a win that supported confidence in her team's current approach.
Not to mention covering her face when she's talking. Yeah. Why is White dressed like Michael Jackson? Well, you know what? Like Michael Jackson, she needs to beat it. Just beat it. Yeah, she needs to get out of here. Fixed, rigged, and corrupt. Aces just handed us the win so they can move from first place to second. Just stop being ridiculous. We all do. Never good when they go for a mouth cover at the end of the game. And now during the game, they threw this.
During the broadcast, a graphic compared the Indiana Fever's record with and without Caitlin Clark. It showed the team had a slightly better winning percentage in both situations, and that quickly sparked debate about whether the Fever might actually perform better without their biggest star. At first glance, those numbers may seem convincing, but they do not tell the full story. Statistics only have real value when the circumstances behind them are also considered. The games played without Clark came during different parts of the season and included matchups against weaker teams, as well as opponents missing important players. Meanwhile, the games with Clark covered a much tougher stretch. She was adjusting to professional basketball, facing experienced defenders every night, and dealing with the pressure that comes with being one of the league's most talked about rookies. Comparing those situations as if they are equal leaves out important details. Some analysts argued that the defense looked stronger, the ball moved more freely, and assists were spread around more evenly without her. Those observations may have been true in a small number of games, but a limited sample cannot prove a long-term trend. The bigger question is what kind of team gives you the best chance to compete for a championship. A balanced roster is important, but having an elite player who can change games often matters even more when the stakes are highest.
Stephanie White locker room pep talk that fans are going off about, saying she's throwing shade at Caitlin Clark, she's taking shots at Caitlin Clark, she would rather not have Caitlin Clark on the team. A lot of comments, reactions regarding last night's game. The Indiana Fever, when they run Stephanie White's system without Caitlin Clark, they're better without Caitlin Clark when they run Stephanie White's system. They're not a better team, but they run that Stephanie White system better when they have a point guard that can't do the things that Caitlin Clark could do. A lot of
Some critics have gone as far as saying the WNBA is starting to feel more like a reality show than a professional sports league. That is a strong opinion, but it reflects the frustration some fans feel when the focus shifts from basketball to controversy. They point to coaches making comments that seem aimed at their own star players, media coverage that highlights drama over performance, and storylines that appear more important than what happens on the court. Whether those claims are fair or not, they have become part of the conversation. The bigger concern is that constant debate and speculation can take attention away from the incredible talent in the league. These athletes compete at the highest level, and their achievements deserve to be recognized for what they are. When headlines focus more on conflict than on the games themselves, it can hurt the league's image. In Indiana's case, many fans believe the team should be celebrating Caitlin Clark's impact. She has brought record television audiences, sold-out arenas, and enormous attention to the franchise. Rather than spending time debating whether the team is better without her, supporters argue the priority should be building a system that takes full advantage of her passing, shooting, and playmaking. Successful teams usually shape their strategy around elite talent, instead of asking that talent to fit into a system that limits its greatest strengths.
Well, Michael Jordan didn't really miss games like they missed games, but you guys get my point. The Indiana Fever beat the Las Vegas Aces without A'ja Wilson. Woohoo! Woohoo! But Stephanie White doing the Steph.
Many fans believe the reaction to this game says more than the final score itself. Social media quickly filled with comments from people who felt Stephanie White's post-game remarks carried a hidden message aimed at Caitlin Clark. Instead of simply praising the team's effort, critics argued that the conversation focused on suggesting the Fever looked better without their rookie star. Supporters of Clark disagreed with that idea. They pointed out that Indiana defeated a Las Vegas Aces team that was missing Aya Wilson, its most important player. Because of that, they believe the result should be viewed in the proper context, rather than being used as proof that the team system is stronger without Clark on the floor. Many felt the discussion shifted away from the actual performance and toward creating a narrative that blamed the franchise's biggest star for earlier struggles. Whether that was the intention or not, it became the main topic among fans and basketball analysts. The situation also raises bigger questions about the Fever's future. Caitlin Clark is still on her rookie contract, meaning she earns far less than the value many believe she brings to the organization. Since entering the league, she has attracted huge television audiences, packed arenas, and brought more attention to the franchise than ever before. If she eventually reaches the point where she can choose her next destination, the team will need to convince her that Indiana is the best place to continue her career. Many fans believe the smartest approach is to build around her strengths, instead of creating constant debates about whether the team can succeed without her. If a player feels undervalued, it could affect both trust and long-term commitment. Another concern is how these public conversations might influence team chemistry. A strong locker room depends on players believing they are supported by the coaching staff. When comments are interpreted as criticism of a player who is recovering from an injury, they can easily become a source of unnecessary tension. During White's locker room speech, she highlighted statistics such as the team's season-low turnover total, strong offensive rebounding, and solid defensive performance. Some fans believe those numbers indirectly pointed to areas where Clark has faced criticism in the past. Others argued that the coach was simply recognizing the team's effort after an important win. Because those remarks can be understood in different ways, the debate has continued long after the game ended. Many observers also compared White's approach with how successful coaches in other sports handle similar situations. Great coaches often celebrate the players who stepped up, while also reminding everyone that the team is stronger when its biggest stars are available. That balance helps maintain confidence throughout the roster, without creating unnecessary controversy. Critics believe that praising depth should never come across as questioning the value of a franchise player. Supporters of White, however, would argue that every coach has the right to emphasize the habits that lead to winning, regardless of who is in the lineup. The post-game interaction between Stephanie White and Becky Hammon also caught the attention of viewers. Their friendly conversation and smiles after the final buzzer led to speculation online, with some fans wondering if there was more behind the result than what happened during the game. However, there is no evidence that anything improper took place. Coaches often share mutual respect, especially when they have known each other for years. Reading too much into a brief exchange can create stories that go beyond the available facts. Still, the moment added another layer to an already emotional discussion. At the center of all this is the WNBA's continued growth. The league has spent years building its audience, increasing media attention, and attracting new sponsors. Caitlin Clark has undoubtedly played a major role in expanding that interest by drawing record viewership and introducing new fans to women's basketball. Many supporters believe the league should focus on celebrating that success instead of allowing debates and personal storylines to overshadow the games themselves. Winning championships requires talented players, good coaching, and a united locker room. If everyone works toward the same goal, the Fever have a much better chance of building lasting success than they do by becoming the center of constant controversy. Some people believe that not everyone in the WNBA has welcomed Caitlin Clark's rapid rise in popularity. They argue that a few veteran players, coaches, and media personalities have struggled with the amount of attention she receives compared to other talented athletes in the league. Whether that view is completely accurate or not, it has become a common topic among fans. Instead of focusing only on how Clark has helped grow interest in women's basketball, many conversations seem to revolve around controversy. Critics of Stephanie White's post-game comments felt she missed an opportunity to simply praise her team's effort, while also expressing excitement about getting Clark back from injury. Instead, they believed her remarks gave more support to her coaching system than to the player many see as the face of the franchise. To those fans, that approach seemed focused on proving a point rather than strengthening the team's future. Online reactions showed that many supporters were not convinced by the argument that one victory proved the Fever were better without Clark. They pointed out that the team defeated an opponent missing key players, making it difficult to draw major conclusions from the result. A single win against a weakened lineup does not necessarily show that a system is ready to compete for a championship. Many fans believe the real challenge comes when a team consistently beats healthy contenders in meaningful games. Because of that, they felt the discussion around this victory became much bigger than the game itself. Looking ahead, the Fever face an important decision about their identity. One option is to continue relying on a slower style of play, while expecting Clark to adjust completely to that approach. The other is to build an offense that fully uses her strengths as a passer, shooter, and playmaker. Many successful teams shape their strategy around elite talent, instead of asking that talent to fit into a system that limits its biggest advantages. Finding the right balance between structure and creativity could be the key to the franchise's long-term success. Some fans worry that if Clark ever feels her abilities are not being fully appreciated, she could eventually consider playing elsewhere when she has the opportunity. That possibility remains only speculation, but it highlights how important trust is between players and coaches. Franchises usually keep their biggest stars by showing confidence in them and creating an environment where they can thrive. If that relationship becomes strained, difficult decisions could follow in the future. In the end, the larger debate is not simply about one regular season victory. It is about how a team develops around a player who has already brought enormous attention to the league. Clark has helped increase television ratings, attract new fans, and create excitement around the WNBA. Many supporters believe the focus should now be on maximizing that talent instead of fueling debates that create division. The Fever have an opportunity to build something special, but doing so will require everyone to work toward the same goal. When the conversation stays centered on controversy instead of basketball, it becomes much harder to unlock the full potential of both the player and the team.